What's up guys, it's Cody here, and today in this video we're going to be going over all the hidden features, the main features, just all kinds of features for iOS 13. As you guys know, this was released yesterday. If you guys don't have it on your device yet, you can get it downloaded and installed without a developer's account, so you can get it for free if you check the link in the description below. I walk you through the entire install process, so definitely check it out if you want to test out dark mode and all these cool new features. So there is a lot that has changed inside of iOS 13. I want to walk you through a lot of those. There's probably some that I've missed, but I've tried to hit a ton of different features. But if you do like these types of videos, make sure you hit the like button to let me know, and I'll keep churning them out. And before we get started, let me know what your favorite feature in iOS 13 is down in the comments below. Maybe it's something that I won't even cover in this video, and I'll be sure to check it out. All right, let's get into it. The first thing that I want to talk about, which is basically just crazy amount of excitement for a whole lot of people, is dark mode. Now, dark mode is something that we've had for a long time if you've been jailbroken on any devices since like iOS 7, I think, maybe even before that. But nevertheless, if you were jailbreaking just for dark mode, you now have it in iOS 13. So it's really simple to set up. You can do it in two different places. You can actually just turn it on from your settings. So if you go into settings and then tap on display and brightness, you'll have your light and dark right here. You can also set this up to have an automatic feature where it will gradually throughout the day turn from light to dark. Here are your options right here, so you can light until sunset, or you can set up a custom schedule just by tapping right here and then making those inputs. So I just have it set to sunset to sunrise, and you can just tap on this and it's going to automatically switch everything to dark mode. You don't have to close out of the apps like you do back in on your jailbroken device. It just switches it right then and there. You also have the option to set up your wallpapers to change as well. So if you want to keep this wallpaper, then you would just go into your wallpapers here, and then you can toggle off this little toggle right here. So it says dark appearance dims wallpaper. So it basically changes your wallpaper once you go into dark mode or once you go into the light mode. Now, the other place that you can change your dark mode is in your control center. So if you go into your control center and then 3D press on the brightness bar, you can see appearance dark until sunrise. If you just tap on this, it's going to change it to the light mode. So if we tap on it and hop out, you can see everything's back in light mode. So really quick and easy way to toggle this on and off, and it works in a ton of different apps. So obviously right now all I have on this device is stock apps, so those are the ones that we're going to be looking at, but I do want to go through these really quickly just to show you guys what they look like with dark mode enabled, but also I want to talk about the changes inside of the applications. So first, you can see settings. You just have an amazing looking dark mode for your settings. It just looks great. But taking a look at wallet, you can see one of the things that you'll get throughout your entire iOS experience is this little pop-up right here, which basically just asks if you want this application to use your location. You now have a new option that has allow once. So this means every time that you open up the app, then it'll ask you if you want it to use your location. So you can not allow it, you can allow it always while using the app, or you can just allow it once. So the next time that I open this up, it's gonna ask me again. So you get the look of what the wallet looks like. It looks pretty similar, functions exactly the same. It just has that nice background. Now, if we go into home, you can see that we get a little bit of a different look. It does look pretty similar, but at the same time, there are a few things that have changed. Also, some new features that have been enabled. So if we just swap over here to our photos, this is actually the first screen that you're going to get when you open up the home app for the first time on iOS 13. One of the really cool things is a secure camera recording. So cameras can now capture and store footage securely in the iCloud. Access live and recorded footage from any of your devices using the new camera view. So this is pretty exciting if you have cameras set up this way. It doesn't send all of your video to a public cloud that can be accessed. This is all encrypted, it's all inside iCloud, and it's only viewable by you. So that's a really nice thing to get added to home. Something mentioned here for HomePod, you also have multiple voices, so it can distinguish between multiple users. You also have your own profile on Apple TV. So hopping back over here, you can see if we just tap on rooms, we have a little bit of a different look here. You can also create a new automation right from there. So let's hop out of this and hop into health. So here you can see you have a completely different look than you had back in iOS 12. So you just have your summary and then your search tabs down here rather than the 4 normal tabs that you had back in iOS 12. So here you can see just your highlights. So how many flights you've climbed, or floors, all that good stuff, your steps, your walking and running distance. You can even add or get rid of these things or the little widgets basically on your summary page if you want them. Another new feature that you have is cycle tracking. So this is going to be good for women that, have a different application that they use that for. You can do this all inside of Health now, which I would assume is pretty nice. You also have some articles right here and some other applications that work with Health. Now, if you tap on search, you're going to get all your health categories that you would normally want to get into if you wanted to dig a little deeper. You can just basically go into all of these, tap on one, and it's going to give you all the information that you would normally get from the Health app. So jumping over here into books, this is going to look pretty much similar to what you remember from iOS 12. One of the things that I wanted to mention is the reading goals. I believe this is something new because I don't ever use the book app, but you can see right here that basically you can set a reading goal. Right now it's just a 5-minute goal, but I would assume you'd be able to change that to, whatever you want to. 5 minutes of reading, I probably wouldn't get anywhere, but that's new in books. News and stocks look pretty similar as well. One that I did want to mention is reminders. This is going to be something that's built from the ground up. Maybe this is an application that I'll start using more often because I really don't ever use it. But you can see you have your today reminders, scheduled reminders, all your reminders, and you have lists right down here. So if we tap on one of these, you can see a reminder right there. I'll just tap on that, go back, and now I don't have any more. If you tap up here on edit, then you can delete these, you can add a group, or you can add a list right down here. Your reminders will also sync through all your devices. You'll see this little upgrade button. If I tap on that, it's actually going to give you a little splash screen that you would normally get when you first open the application. So you also have the ability to use Siri in order to make your reminders and use automatic smart lists like today and flagged. But if you tap continue right here, you'll notice that you'll get a little pop-up that says to access your upgraded iCloud reminders on the following devices, they're going to need to be updated. So if you're on a jailbroken device, you're definitely not going to want to tap on upgrade now. You'll just want to tap on upgrade later if that's not a feature that you're willing to lose a jailbreak over. But let's have a look at Maps. Maps got a completely different redesign. You can see right here that we have our favorites, or my favorites. I have home and work set up right here. And you also have collections of places that you can add right here and add those in. Now, if we tap on this, it's going to give you some abilities to just tap on restaurants, fast food, gas station, coffee shop, all that same stuff that you normally would get. But it's also showing you that you can use a sliding keyboard. So if I wanted to type something in, let's say I was looking for Firehouse subs. I've never tried that. Pretty close. I got 4 house subs, and there it is right there. So if you wanted to just use that keyboard, I don't use a swipe keyboard very often, but maybe I will since it's on iOS 13 now. Also in Maps on iOS 13, you have a new look around feature, which is really cool. Right now, I believe it's only in San Francisco. I haven't looked everywhere, but this is something that's going to be available all over the US by the end of the year. But you can see if you look up San Francisco, I have a little look around button. So if I tap on that, it's going to allow me to literally look around. And we have high def pictures right here. And let's just say that we wanted to go down the street. You can see you just tap on it and it's gonna take you down the street, and it's gonna be very smooth. It looks really good. One of the really cool things about Look Around is you can actually go to specific businesses, tap on those, and you can see more information about them, exactly where they are. So Golden One Credit Union, if I tap on that, it's gonna give me more information on it. It's gonna give me directions to it. It's gonna give me pictures from Yelp, the hours, address, all that good stuff. So this is actually a really cool new feature with Apple Maps. It might be something, since they've said that they drove over like 4 million miles or something like that. I think that was the number. If I'm wrong, you guys can correct me in the comments. With hundreds of different cars to get all this information, and it's just really, really nice. It looks really good because it's high def. So I'm really looking forward to checking this out once it's available in my area. Another really cool update is in Photos. Photos allows you to, you can see you get a little bit of a different UI. You have years, months, days, all photos. You still have the same tabs right down here, but one of the really cool things is that you can pinch and zoom on your photos. So let's just say that we wanted to go to all photos. I'm just gonna zoom out just like that. And then if you wanted to just pinch to zoom, then you just pinch, zoom, and it zooms in just like that. So a pretty awesome look for photos in iOS 13. Just to show you guys, if I go to days, months, or years, it does little highlight videos of, or shows you basically what was going on in that year of the pictures that you've taken. So if you've used the same device or you've been, collecting images and videos since, then this is going to be more and more, I guess, cool to look back on and reminisce. You also have calendar, which is going to look good in dark mode. Apple TV, Apple Watch, shortcuts. Find My also looks a little bit different. I don't want to show you the location of everybody in my family, so I'm going to tap on that. But you also have dark mode for files, contacts, podcasts, and the least used application ever in history is Tips. None of these apps look very different, but I did want to go over the applications and how they look and some of the new features that you get inside of these apps. One thing I did want to mention actually on Find My is that it is now the combination of Find My iPhone and Find My Friends. So when you tap on that, you're gonna be able to find your iPhone and find your friends, all the people that you've set up as your friend. You can even get location updates, so the people that you do have on Find My Friends, you can get notifications about their location. It even has a new feature that allows offline finding. So it's going to improve the chance of you finding your device even if they're not connected to the internet, which is really nice. All right, so that's all of the app changes that I'm probably gonna talk about in this video. I just wanted to get that out of the way because there was a lot of changes to a lot of the stock applications as well as the different looks with dark mode and all that jazz. So at this point, we're just gonna talk about some of the normal smaller changes that have taken place, like UI changes and stuff like that. So the big one, the one that we've all been waiting for like, I don't even know how long, since iOS 7 maybe before that, is the volume HUD change. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. They finally did it. It took them, 10 years to finally change the volume HUD. And this is what it looks like now. So if I hit it once, you can see it pop up. It looks very similar to what you would get in the control center. But what it's doing is allowing you to tap on it, and then you can move your finger up and down in order to get the exact volume that you're looking for. Now, if you want it to be smaller than that, you would just hit it twice. And it's gonna go smaller and shift to the side right there. So just hit it twice, and then you can see it's gonna go down just like that. Now, if you just click it and hold it, then it looks like that. Now, it looks a little bit different in landscape mode, so let me just show you that. All right, so I'm in Safari, so I'm in landscape mode. So now if I hit the volume button, you can see it opens up right at the top, and then it slims down as you press it. So finally, a volume HUD change that I can agree with, that a lot of people are gonna be happy about. Also, another little thing about the volume HUD, if you actually minimize it to the side just like that, you can actually pull it back out and then use your thumb and then let it go. Thank you, Apple, for finally changing this. Next, if we go into the control center, swipe down here, you're actually gonna get a cool little feature. So if we open up our Wi-Fi and Bluetooth widget from here, you just 3D press on that to get here. And then if we 3D press again, it's going to give you all the lists of all your Wi-Fi connections right here, which is pretty cool. If you want to go into the settings, you can just tap right there and it'll take you right into the settings. You get the same exact thing for Bluetooth. So if you tap on or 3D press on Bluetooth, then all your Bluetooth devices will show up right here. And if you want to go into the settings, you can tap right there and to get into it. Pretty nice. Siri also sounds better on iOS 13. It sounds more human-like, but at the same time, it's not quite there. It's not quite as good as Google Assistant, but it does sound better. So just for comparison's sake, this is an iOS 12 device, so let's listen to this one first. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
About as much ground as a groundhog could hog if a groundhog could hog ground.
All right, so now let's try iOS 13. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Matter of fact, it doesn't sound that much better. Can you tell me the weather in San Francisco?
Looks like nice weather coming up in San Francisco, California today. Up to 73 degrees.
So you can see that it does sound a little bit more human-like, but at the same time, it's got a little bit further to go before it sounds as good as Google Assistant, in my opinion. But a nice upgrade to say the least. So here in iMessage, you get a few different things. One of those being a dark keyboard when you have dark mode enabled, which is really nice. The next thing right here is you can share your name and photo with other users on iMessage. So this makes it really easy for people to add contacts because it's giving them a photo and it's also giving them your name. So I'm actually really stoked about that. I like that a lot. So the next thing is Memoji stickers. So if we tap right here, you can see you have all your Memojis that you have set up right here. You also can use this for Animojis, and it has all the different reactions, I guess you could say. So if we wanted to use one of these, we would basically just drop it right there, and it's going to paste it in. So you use it just like any other sticker. So also, if we just tap on this and then swipe over, you get all the exact same things on all of these Animojis. So all your favorite cows, octopus, giraffes, robots, aliens, pigs, pandas, all that good stuff. It all has Memoji stickers. I'm not a huge user of stickers ever. I guess I'm just lame, but apparently some people are pretty stoked about it. Now also, what those Memoji stickers will do if you use them a lot, they'll actually show up in your frequently used. So it even says it right here. So you have all your Memoji stickers right there. You can tap on this and it's gonna give you that screen that I was just looking at. So that's gonna be something that's easily accessible. You don't have to tap on anything different. It's gonna be right there in your emoji keyboard. So next, let's go into Photos, and then I wanna show you that you can actually edit videos with your Photos app, just like you could edit photos back in the day. So you have your back, pause, and all this good stuff, but if you tap on edit, you can see that you have these three options. So first, it does have to download the video in order for you to change things, but you have your filters, you have your crop, your rotation, and all of your brightness, contrast, color, all that good stuff, all right here. So let's just wait for this to download real quick. But you can see right here that if you tap on this, then you have your auto, you have your exposure if you wanted to change that. Let's tap right here and just change up the exposure a little bit, work on the highlights, shadows, brightness. Let's actually go this way. I'm basically just making it look miserable, but you have your saturation right there. And if you want to change just the basic filter on it, just throw a filter on it, then you can do so from here. Let's go to black and white. And then you have your crop options, so you can straighten it, basically lay it down more, which doesn't look like it's going to let me do that, or you can tilt it like this. Now, if you screw all these up, then you can always hit the reset button right up there at the top, and it's gonna reset it. You also have the ability to shift, or rotate your videos right up there. But let's go ahead and reset this. We'll click cancel, discard changes, and this is gonna go back to the same. But it's really cool that they give you the ability just to do some editing on your videos right there within the Photos app, rather than having to export it somewhere else or use a different application. It's really nice to have at least some features that you would want inside the Photos app. Next is the ability to add fonts. You can now install fonts on your iOS device. That's really pretty awesome. Right now, if you just tap on Settings, General, you have your fonts right here, and then you can install your fonts. I don't believe this is working right now, or I don't know how to install fonts yet, but you have the ability to do that right here. Now let's hop into Safari here. One of the changes in Safari is the ability to change the text size right up here. So if you just tap on that, you can make it bigger just by tapping the big A, or you can zoom out by tapping the small a. You can also tap up here and it's gonna give you some other options right here. So you have the hide toolbar, you can request the desktop website, you have your website settings, and you also can show the reader view tapping on that. So if we tap on website settings here, you have the ability to set up specifically for particular websites what they have to ask for in order to have access to. So you have camera, microphone, and location. It's going to ask for those. You can tap on that and you can deny it at all times, or you can allow it at all times. So if you're on something like Apple, possibly you could allow it on camera, microphone, and location, but for no reason whatsoever do they need that I am aware of. So I always just leave it on ask. You can also use reader automatically if you want to toggle that on, which is pretty nice. Also in Safari, you have a new download manager, something that has been needed for a very, very long time. So I'm just gonna download a small example file right here. I think I can just tap on that and it should download it. So you can set, it says right here, do you want to download this zip? I'm gonna tap on download. And then if we go ahead and tap right up here, you have your download manager. So you can see this is downloaded. If we tap on it, it's going to take us into our iCloud drive. Wow, that was hard to say. Our iCloud drive, and it's going to have all the files that you have downloaded. So finally, we have the ability to download files inside of Safari without having much issue whatsoever. Next, let's talk about the share sheet. So this can be done basically anywhere there's a share sheet, but I'm just gonna do it in Safari just because there's an arrow pointing to it, and I just wanted to cover this right now. So if you tap on the share sheet, you can see there is a really cool new feature that shows all your recent people that you've communicated with. So this is going to be really nice. Something that actually has already come in handy for me, just because I don't have to search for the conversations that I want to send something to. I literally just can tap on it and it's going to send it to them. They've also changed the AirDrop logo, as you can see right there. So I have my iMac right there, the AirDrop right there. And if we swipe over, you get pretty much the same look that you would normally get, just in kind of a different format. So that's pretty nice. So you can swipe over to go through all your contacts right there. But if we go down here, you actually still get a whole lot more options. So you can copy it, open in news, add to your home screen. This is just in Safari, you can add to your home screen, add to reading list, bookmark, all these different options. And you even have the option to add more options right down here. So you can clean this up however you want to. You can basically take away some of these if you're not ever going to use them, or add some in if they're not available right when you try it. But this is going to look exactly the same inside of photos or anything like that, anything that you would use a share sheet for. So pretty cool. Next is the ringer switcher, or the mute switch. So if we just turn this off, you're gonna see a little animation right here that you can see: silent mode on, silent mode off. And that's just a nice little animation. It looks nice. It looks clean, and for some reason it just makes me happy. Next, inside the clock app, if you go in here, you have a new UI for your timer. So if you start a timer right here, you can see the timer counting down. You also have the time right here when that timer is going to go off. Now, here in your music, if you use Apple Music very often, then first of all, you can see what it looks like with dark mode on. But there's also some new features here, like real-time lyrics. It doesn't actually have any of the lyrics available right now. I assume that they do have these lyrics for these songs, but for the most part, if you just tap on this, it's going to show you your lyrics right here. But you'll also notice that it changes to a nice little blur that matches the album artwork. So that's really nice. They've also obviously changed the design of it just a little bit. They have a little bit more bolder media buttons right there. If we tap on the ellipses, you can see a lot of different options. You can view the album, download it, delete from your library. I mean, you can basically just go through all of these if you want to. But getting lyrics like this is something that I wish Spotify would do. I don't know what. They give like little hints at what the lyrics are, and then they just skip to something else, which is really, really annoying. So I actually really do like this feature, even though I don't use Apple Music. Next, inside the settings, if you wanted to set your text to bold, well, you can do that within display and brightness, or you can do it within accessibility. So there's two places to do this. But if you tap on this, you no longer have to restart or respring your device. It's going to automatically change all the text to bold just like that right when you toggle it on. You also notice that accessibility has been removed from the general setting and given its own setting right here, which is really nice because I've always there's a lot of things that you have to do in accessibility. It's nice that they finally pulled it out of one layer of menus that you would have to scroll down to so you can access it a whole lot easier. Something else that's changed that may or may not be that big of a deal, but the battery charging indicator that you would usually get on the newer devices is now on all of the devices that support iOS 13. So it basically just has that little bolt right there in the battery, right in the middle. So if that's something you've been missing, then rejoice, you now have it too. Now, something that is really, really awesome. Hopefully this is going to work on the HomePod too. I haven't tested it yet. If you guys have, let me know in the comments, because that would be, I don't even know. That would literally make iOS 13 for me. But what this does now in iOS 13 is allow Siri to play music, audiobooks, radio, podcasts, anything with third-party applications. So you can see right here, this is on iOS 12. This did not work. I tried to play Kanye West on Spotify, and it says I can't play from Spotify. So let's try it on iOS 13. Play Kanye West from Spotify.
I'm not able to do that for Spotify.
Well, that's disappointing. Okay, so I downloaded Pandora. If it doesn't work for Pandora, then hopefully it's just broken altogether rather than it just not working with Spotify, which would really upset me. So let's give it a try. Play music on Pandora.
I'll need to access your Pandora data to do this. Is that okay?
Yes.
I couldn't find that on.
What does that mean? You gotta upgrade? Let's tap on upgrade. Let's see what happens. Oh wow, you have to have Pandora Premium in order to do that? I'm gonna flip. All right, so this is basically a non-working feature. I'm not gonna say that entirely, but if you guys get this working, then let me know. I'm hoping that it at least will work with HomePod. But apparently there are some third-party applications that this will work for. Let me know if you know any of them. Now next I want to show you guys the different look for CarPlay. So the UI has changed just a little bit, and maybe this is an entire video that you guys would want to see. If you do, let me know in the comments below. But for the most part, this is what you get. You have a new Now Playing application right there that you can tap on. You have your calendar, and then you also have settings. So you can go into your settings and then turn on Do Not Disturb while driving if you want to. But you also have a little button right down here in the bottom left-hand corner that if you tap on, it's going to take you to your map, and it's gonna look just like this. So you have your upcoming destinations, you have your Now Playing little widget right there, and then you're gonna have a map. I didn't have any type of cellular data on the device that I was plugged into at the time, so that's why you have a blank map right there. But CarPlay has changed. It also has automatic dark mode, so a nice welcome change to CarPlay. Next, if we hop back into the control center right here, you can see if we 3D press on the volume button, it's going to tell you what device you're actually turning up. So if you're connected to Bluetooth, it's going to show that Bluetooth device right up here to let you know that you're turning that device's volume up. Also in the control center right here, you get a little bit of a different look. So with the Apple Remote TV, or Apple Remote, you can see it looks a little bit different in terms of the UI, and it's actually a whole lot darker. So you have all the buttons that you would need in order to control your Apple TV. If we get out of the control center and we go over here to the dock, and let's just say that we remove one application, you can see the apps actually spread out evenly over the entire dock. Now this is something that you saw in the, I believe, the first iOS 12 beta, but then it was removed later in iOS 12 versions. So this is something that's come back. Hopefully it's here to stay. I think it looks pretty nice just to have it all spread out evenly. Now let's get into some of the nitty-gritty settings that we have for different in particular categories here. All right, so now we're in the settings. The first thing that I want to talk about is screen time. So there's actually a new little section right here in screen time in iOS 13 called communication limits. So this is going to allow you to set limits based on your contacts. So this is going to be something that you're probably going to do for your kids if they have a device like this. So the two options right here that you have is allowed communication during allowed screen time. Right now I have it set up to everyone. So this is going to limit who you can communicate with during your allowed screen time, and then during downtime, limit who you can communicate with during downtime. So basically, once your screen time has expired, then you're not going to be able to contact specific people. So let's say that lights out at 8 p.m. for your kids, you can put particular contacts that you cannot communicate with during downtime, and they're not going to be able to talk to them. So you just tap on this, you have everyone, contacts only, and you also have a little toggle right here for group communication. So this little toggle is going to allow people to be added to your group conversations when one of your contacts or a family member is in the group. So nice to get a little bit more granular in these communication limits or the screen time limits on your devices. Next, a small change. If we go back into the settings, we tap on General, tap on About, you can see that everything has been rearranged in a more readable and nice format. If you're not used to the iOS 12 or you don't look at it very often, I'll show you what that looks like. So you can see everything is just in one big block right there, but now it's sectioned off and makes things a little bit easier. Next, if we hop back out of this and then we want to look at storage. Actually, if we go back into General, iPhone storage, and then you're gonna see everything looks pretty similar, but at the very bottom, you're gonna have two different options. So you have System and then Other. So normally in iOS 12, you just had System and you weren't able to tap on it. It was just something that was down there. Now you can tap on this on System. You can see you have system files that has 5.77 gigs. But if we tap on Other, this is actually telling you all the system data that includes caches, logs, and other resources currently in use by the system. This value will fluctuate according to your system's needs. So it's nice to have just a little bit more granular look into your system storage, just so you know basically what's being used, when it's being used, and how much is being used. So you can see right here, it actually just dropped to 900 megs. Now it went back up to 4 gigs. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on right there. That's a lot of fluctuation in that quick of a time frame. Probably just a glitch or a bug. Next, let's talk about the battery. So hopping down here and tapping on battery, there's gonna be a new little feature right down actually, I lied. It's right up here at the top somewhere. Tap on battery health. And then you have a little toggle right here. It's called optimized battery charging. So to reduce battery aging, iPhone learns from your daily charging routine, so it can wait to finish charging past 80% until you need to use it. So this is something that's really nice if you have a very determined schedule where things don't change too often. If you don't have a determined schedule and maybe you are a doctor or somebody that gets paged and called and you need to go do something like right on the spot, then maybe this is not something that you would want to use, just because it's very possible if you pick up your device, it could be at 80% even though it's been charging overnight. So depending on your life schedule, you may or may not want this enabled. So now if we go into iTunes and App Store, if we tap on that, then you can see you have a new little option right here. So you have the automatic downloads toggle, but right under that is app download. So it's basically a setting that you can set if you want it to ask you if you download any applications over 200 megabytes. If you tap on that, you have the ability to always allow downloads from applications on cellular data, or you can just always have it ask you first and then download it or decline it based on the size of the application. So that's nice to have. This is going to get rid of that limit of having to be on Wi-Fi for applications that are larger, because if you have data to spare or you're still on an unlimited plan, then you can just use this to always allow downloading of applications on data. Hopping down here to Mail, there's a new feature or a new addition, and it might be helpful to some of you guys. Not one that I've ever probably will need, but it says include attachment with replies. So you have the option to set it to never. Let's actually go back here. Or when adding receipts, ask, or always. So depending on what type of work you do and what you email back and forth to people, that can be a helpful little feature. Now also here in Mail, and something you're gonna see all throughout iOS 13 on particular applications, is the Siri in search. So if you tap on that, you're gonna get a whole lot more options than you did back in iOS 12. So just to show you guys what that looks like on iOS 12, you can see here that in Mail, this is the Mail application, you have Siri and suggestions toggle and then allow on lock screen and then your shortcuts right there. So you can see this is all Mail. In iOS 13, you have a more granular look as well as some additional features. So you have show Siri suggestions inside the app. You also have the toggle to learn from this app. So this allows Siri to make suggestions in Mail and learn from how you use Mail to make suggestions across applications. You also have in search. So do you want to show Mail in search? Do you want to suggest shortcuts? It's like a tongue twister. Suggest shortcuts with Mail inside of search right there. Also here on the lock screen, do you want to show Siri suggestions? So this just allows the lock screen to suggest shortcuts based on how you use Mail. So basically what all these toggles are doing is allowing Siri to learn how you use Mail, allow Siri to suggest certain things dependent upon how you use Mail or other applications, and hopefully it will turn out to be a better user experience. So again, you have this on almost all your applications. You have the Siri in search just like you did in iOS 12. So if I tap on contacts, you can see you have all the exact same options right there. Now something I'm still waiting for in iOS 13 is the ability to password protect specific applications. I think that is something that I definitely want to do, and something we've been doing on jailbroken devices for a very long time. And one of the reasons I want to protect applications is because of Notes, because I put stuff in there that I don't necessarily want to share with the entire world. Well, not necessarily the entire world, but people that use my other devices, because I have iPads around that I let people use, and there's no reason for them to read my notes or what I have in my notes. So one of the nice things that they've added to Notes is the ability to store your notes on this iPhone. So you have a little toggle right here that says on my iPhone account. So using an on my iPhone account allows you to store notes on this device and your other notes won't be affected. So this basically just means that it's not going to share or sync those particular notes with other devices, which is pretty good. Now I know a lot of people in the comments are probably gonna say, well, you can lock down specific notes. Yeah, I can, but I wanna lock down my entire Notes app. I have hundreds of notes. I don't want to have to put a password on every single one of them, but hopefully this feature will relieve at least some of that stress. So let's hop back out of here and let's scroll down to Messages. So Messages here, you have another option. So you have the ability to share your name and photo. So this is something that I was showing you inside of iMessage, but you actually have the ability to do that and toggle it on right here, so it doesn't have to ask you every time. So you can see right here, you have the options to share automatically with contacts only. You can have it set to always ask or share with anyone, and you just toggle that on right there. Now, if we hop back out of this and go into FaceTime, you can see you have an option right down here to toggle on FaceTime live photos. So if you toggle this on, that's going to allow live photos to be captured during FaceTime video call. So if you don't want that enabled, then you can just disable it right here in the FaceTime settings. Hopping back out to the settings, let's go to Maps. So you're also going to have a new feature right here. and that is the climate section right here. So you have air quality index and weather conditions toggled on if you want those available to you inside of the Maps app. They're doing a whole lot of improvements to Maps that very possibly could get me on board with trying out Apple Maps again. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Let's hop back out of this and go into Safari. And if we tap on that, then you're going to see a couple of different things. So if we scroll down here to the general section that you can see, you can tap on downloads, and you can have downloads either download directly to your phone or download to your iCloud drive. So you just toggle it on right there, or if you have an other, then you can tap right there and then select that. So you can also have this option right down here that has remove download list items after 1 day upon successful download or manually. Now this is a pretty similar thing that got added for tabs as well. So you can see you have a close tabs option that's going to allow you to either manually close those, or it can close them after a day, after 1 week, or after 1 month. All right, guys, that's all I got for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I think these features will get you started. Of course, there's going to be more discoveries and more messing with this. So hopefully I'll find out some more features to share with you guys, but I figured this was probably good enough and long enough, so I'm going to end it right here. All right, guys, that's all I got for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure you hit that like button. If you guys want to stay up to date with everything iOS 13, be sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, and I'll see you in the next video.